An update on Chris Jericho's AEW status following the end of his recent Fozzy tour. El Grande Americano defeats former WWE champion CM Punk and AJ Styles on Raw to qualify for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Stephanie Vakur also qualifies for the women's Money in the Bank ladder match this weekend. There were We Want Truth chants breaking out before and during WWE Monday Night Raw last night. Carito was absent, of course, as his WWE contract is set to expire, with Dominic Mysterio wearing his shirt in the Judgment Day clubhouse. Wacken Wild says he's good after being knocked out cold during a WWE speed taping yesterday. Michael Cole wears TJ McDonald Pacers jersey on Raw and pays off his bet with Pat McAfee. Sarah Logan reveals that her WWE contract will not be renewed. Jim Ross says he's home from hospital after colon cancer surgery. Elijah is set to speak on TNA Impact this coming Thursday. Savio Vega's role at the upcoming Worlds Collide show for AAA and WWE has possibly been revealed. And an update on The Miz's WWE status after some social media rumors suggested he could be on his way out of WWE. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Before we begin, you can see right there, we're currently at 22,122 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, join the ever-expanding WNU. In addition, you can scan that QR code that you can see right there on the sidebar, or you can click the join button or the link in the video description, and you can become members of the WN365 roster. You get your badges, your emojis, and your exclusive members-only content. Whilst checking out the sidebar, you can also see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows live here on the channel. That includes this weekend for AAA and WWE Worlds Collide, as well as WWE Money in the Bank. Now, let's begin with the latest update on the AEW status of the first ever AEW World Champion, Chris Jericho. Now, Chris Jericho has not appeared on All Elite Wrestling programming since the post-Dynasty edition of AEW Dynamite, when he proclaimed his disappointment in Brian Keith and Big Bill and told his Learning Tree faction mates that he was going away. Jericho taking time off came only days after he dropped the Ring of Honor World Championship to Bandito. Jericho reportedly decided to take some time off, so he believed it was the right time to take a break from AEW. Jericho has been on tour with Fozzy during his time away from All Elite Wrestling, but that tour came to an end on May 12th. The 54-year-old also performed a couple of shows with his quarantine band, including Crusher Fest on May 31st. While Jericho may be free and available for an AEW return, Dave Meltzer has reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that there is, quote, nothing on the table right now, end quote, for Jericho to make his comeback. Meltzer said, quote, his Fozzy tour is over. He's done some TV work while he's been gone, a couple of TV shows. As far as coming back to AEW, there's nothing on the table right now. I think he felt it was time for a break, so that's that, Meltzer said. Now, of course, Jericho has been part of AEW since 2019. His current contract with All Elite Wrestling is due to expire at the end of 2025. Now, El Grande Americano scored the biggest victory of his WWE career last night on Raw, because El Grande Americano is headed to Money in the Bank. The June 2nd edition of WWE Raw was headlined by the final qualifying match for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, as CM Punk, AJ Styles, and El Grande Americano squared off in a triple threat contest. The closing stretch of the match started after Punk hit Americano with his signature go-to-sleep finisher. Before he could get a pin, Punk was pulled out of the ring by Bron Breakker and Big Bronson Reed. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso hit the ringside area to fight off Breakker and Reed, allowing AJ Styles to take out everyone with a dive to the outside. While jumping back into the ring, Styles was clocked with a headbutt by Americano, who used the move to pick up the pinfall win just moments later. The aftermath was bleak for everyone that isn't aligned with Paul Heyman, as Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Seth Rollins took out Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and CM Punk to end the show. El Grande Americano rounds out a field of stars that includes Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, and Andrade. Of course, as mentioned, we'll have a live watch-along and post-show for Money in the Bank this coming Saturday. Now, CM Punk has sent a message to AJ Styles after facing off against him for the first time in over 20 years Monday night on Raw. Of course, as mentioned, the main event was that triple threat qualifying match. El Grande Americano eventually won it. CM Punk has now taken to his Instagram story to show respect to AJ Styles, calling him a legend. Hoping they don't wait 21 more years for the next encounter, Punk said, quote, AJ Styles, I've got a lot on my plate right now, but I'll always make room for you. Thank you for the boot print on my nose. Let's not wait 21 years for the next time. You're a legend. Of course, prior to this match, CM Punk and AJ Styles faced off last at IWC A Call to Arms 2 in December of 2004. While they were both part of the 2025 30-man Royal Rumble match, and the Money in Bank qualifier match actually marked their first match against one another since that aforementioned bout in 2004. Now, speaking of Money in the Bank, Stephanie Vakur, she has qualified for the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. The field is set for the women's edition of the bout. Monday's Raw featured the final qualifying match for the upcoming ladder match as Liv Morgan, Ivy Now, and Stephanie Vakur clashed in a triple threat contest. In the end, it was Vakur. She was able to shock the world, winning the qualifying match via pinfall after nailing Nile with her signature SVB move. Vakur rounds out a field of stars that includes Alexa Bliss, Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, and Naomi. Now, people are still reeling after the shock exit from WWE of veteran RTruth. The WWE Universe seemingly has made their voice heard. On Sunday, RTruth announced that he was released by WWE. Now, it was later reported by many different outlets that his contract was set to expire and was not renewed. Truth had been with WWE in total for nearly 2 decades between 2 runs with the organization. On Monday's WWE Raw, the crowd chanted, "We want Truth," before the show went on the air. During the opening segment between Sami Zayn and CM Punk, and in the middle of the Women's Money in the Bank qualifying match between Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vakur, and Ivy Nile. Of course, Truth was regularly featured on WWE television before his departure on Sunday, including a match against John Cena recently at WWE Saturday Night's main event. Speaking of the departures from WWE, another one was Carlito, and the Judgment Day Clubhouse looked a little different on Monday's Raw. Now, one day after Carlito informed fans that his WWE contract would not be renewed, he was nowhere to be found on WWE Raw. Though Carlito and his PS5 were not in the Judgment Day Clubhouse, Dominic Mysterio showed his support by wearing "That's Not Cool" t-shirt, of course a t-shirt actually for Carlito. Carlito joined the Judgment Day in 2024 and was often seen playing WWE 2K25 on his PS5 in the Clubhouse. Now he is seemingly going to be leaving WWE once his contract with the company expires. Now, a bit of a health update here on Latino World Order member Wacken Wild. Now, Wacken Wild competed against Lexis King in a WWE speed match taped ahead of Raw yesterday. The bout was stopped after Wild suffered an apparent injury and had to be attended to by officials. On social media, Wild wrote, quote, "Never been knocked out cold before, so a lot to process right now, but I'm good, no worries." Wild is scheduled to compete this weekend at WWE and AAA Worlds Collide. Of course, if we get any more details on his status for the upcoming show, we'll let you know in a future video. Michael Cole, he paid off a bet last night with Pat McAfee on Raw. Michael Cole, a New York Knicks fan, and Pat McAfee, an Indiana Pacers fan, had a friendly wager with the Knicks and Pacers meeting in the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. If the Pacers won, Cole would wear a tank top. If the Knicks won, McAfee would wear a suit. The Pacers won in 6, and Cole donned a TJ McDonald jersey on Monday's WWE Raw, which took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Pacers will meet the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals. Another departure from WWE, that being one of Sarah Logan, also known as Valhalla. Sarah Logan, Valhalla on WWE TV, is set to exit WWE. Logan took to Instagram to reveal that she has been informed that her WWE contract won't be renewed once it expires. She wrote, quote, "I come to you with tears in my eyes because our time has come to a sudden end. WWE informed me yesterday that they are letting my contract expire. To be completely honest, my ego couldn't help but be damaged. You always assume that when you end a lifelong career, there is going to be a grand exit. But here I am, using the Notes app on my phone, typing up a goodbye letter to an entity that will forget I was even there. I truly take no offense to this. My career as it was is getting usurped by my vocation, and it's all on a divine timeline that I trust deeply. I'll definitely miss you, but no, I'll be taken care of by my wonderful husband, by the land you provided for me, alongside the children I've made along the way. I'm going to take off the weight of being a superstar and let myself soar just being Sarah. She's been growing on me, and it's time I let her fully cultivate. I love all the people you've brought into my life, but my social media page won't be about you anymore. It will share only the parts of me that I wish, and none of that will be wrestling. I'm more of a clean break kind of girl, and the other calls to me will be taking my full attention. With all my love, Sarah." Now, Logan, who is married to Eric of the Viking Raiders, has been off television since early 2024. She gave birth in November of last year. She was managing the Viking Raiders, now, of course, the War Raiders, prior to being off television. Now, positive update here when it comes to WWE Hall of Famer and AEW commentator Jim Ross, because he is home from the hospital. On Monday evening, Jim Ross informed fans that he's home from the hospital following surgery for colon cancer. Quote, "Made it home from the hospital but still feeling rugged. Need to kick out. I'm trying," he wrote on social media. Of course, Ross underwent surgery on May 27th. Obviously, we wish him the best in his recovery and send him thoughts and well wishes. Going over to TNA Wrestling here, because you can walk with Elijah on TNA Impact. TNA Wrestling have announced that Elijah will address TNA Against All Odds on the June 5th episode of TNA Impact. Elijah will challenge Trick Williams or Mike Santana for the TNA World Championship at TNA Against All Odds on June 6th. Williams will defend the title against Santana on tonight's June 3rd episode of WWE NXT on the CW. Now, an update here when it comes to the role of former WWE superstar Savio Vega when it comes to this coming weekend's WWE and AAA Worlds Collide event. It emerged this week that the star of the WWE New Generation era was being brought in for Worlds Collide. Dave Meltzer has now reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that Vega will be a producer at the event. Quote, "There's a lot of talk about Savio Vega, who is going to be there. I do not know if he will appear before people. Savio Vega is a producer for the show, so it's not necessarily that he's a performer for the show, but he's going to be there. That part is accurate," Meltzer said. Vega being brought in for Worlds Collide has generated some criticism, as the Puerto Rican star has never actually wrestled for AAA and has only had 9 matches in Mexico since 1986. Vega last appeared for WWE at Backlash 2023 when he assisted Bad Bunny in his match against Damian Priest. Another name set to be involved at Worlds Collide behind the scenes is Moody Jack Melendez, who has signed with WWE to be a part of the AAA creative team. This weekend's Worlds Collide show is scheduled for Saturday, June 7th from the Kia Forum in Los Angeles, California. And finally, a bit of an update here when it comes to The Miz and his WWE status after some confusion regarding the former WWE champion's status in the company. Now, WWE have been carrying out more cuts in recent days, with it being announced that RTruth, Carito, Sarah Logan, and others will all exit the company when their contracts expire. This comes after WWE decided not to renew the 3 talents' contracts. Speculation about The Miz's WWE future emerged this week after the former Intercontinental Champion scrapped any references to WWE from his X account and unfollowed the official WWE account on social media. Despite speculation around The Miz's future, Fightful Select has reported they have not been told in any capacity that The Miz has been informed his contract is not being renewed. The belief is The Miz's contract expires in 2025, with it being noted in 2019 that Mike Mizanin had signed a new long-term deal with WWE. His prior contract was due to expire in 2022. The Miz has been a part of WWE for 21 years, having signed with the company in 2004. He is a 2-time WWE champion, 8-time Intercontinental champion, 2-time United States champion, and 9-time WWE Tag Team champion. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, as you can see right there. We're currently at 22,122 subscribers. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Join the ever-expanding WNU as we get closer to 25k. In addition, you can become a member of the WN365 roster. Links in the video description below. You can click the join button or scan the QR code right there on the sidebar. Speaking of the sidebar, you can see all upcoming watch-alongs and post-shows we've got here live on the channel. That includes this weekend, this Saturday, June 7th, for WWE and AAA Worlds Collide, in addition to, of course, WWE Money in the Bank. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.